And I told her, and I said, she said, I think people get pregnant because there's more attention in the pregnancy rather than having a baby.
Ouch.
And I was like, damn. So is it true that most people or some people only get pregnant for the attention? That's kind of crazy because it starts to throw you off a little bit because it's like,
because then when I look around, right, what do I see a lot of, right? I got to be honest. So do y'all remember a time where the only thing that happened with pregnancy was a baby shower?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And now there's like it's levels to it, right? It's a gender reveal.
No, even before
pregnancy
that.
reveal.
Right. Pregnancy reveal.
The diaper party,
right.
where everybody bring the diapers and wipes, and then it's the reveal party.
Right, and you got a gender reveal, and then it's the baby shower.
the baby shower.
Oh, and don't forget the very much coveted maternity shoots.
The pregnancy maternity shoots.
Right.
Then there's a push gift. So is it that? Ooh, this is kind of touchy too.
It is.
So does the decision to have a child, which kind of really plagues our community, because a lot of times when pregnancies happen, the pages get flipped a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So is the decision that's made to have the child strictly on the attention that the pregnant person will receive by being pregnant?
Absolutely.
Rather than, the I'm building a family?
The party stops after the baby gets here, because then you're either a mom or you're not.
Right.
You're either a dad or you're not.
Right.
So there's no in between. You either have to be one or the other. And a lot of times, women aren't ready to be mothers.
No.
Women aren't ready to be single mothers.
Right. Let's
So they chose to be a single mother. So they didn't look at the end result. They just seen the attention of being pregnant.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of women say it's a good time, right? It's a great time being pregnant, and a lot of people say they don't mind being pregnant again, right? But then they say, all right, when the baby is here, see, that's when the work starts,
Right.
Absolutely.
That's when the real work starts.
right? So here's another question that goes with that, and I know postpartum is for real,
Absolutely,
by any means. I'm not taking that away, but is part of postpartum the fact that the attention now is in the spotlight is away,
Right. And
you
now
gotta
you
go to
realize
work?
you stuck with this human.
And now you realize that you stuck with this baby
Right.
that's
'Cause
crying
now all
87
of the fun
times a day,
done worn off,
right?
And the baby is pooping on you,
Right.
and the baby is teething,
And now you got to look around and it's looking at you.
Right.
You are the one that's responsible now.
And you can't call nobody.
And you can't give it back.
Because when you made the baby, you made it for all of the glamour,
Right.
Not understanding that.
And then you may
work.
have made the decision solely based off that, and then you look for your partner who maybe not was with it,
Right.
and they are no longer there or don't want to be there. So then you get even further in
Down this
anger.
It's a
Depression,
depression.
yeah.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of hormones in women, right? That some women do naturally have postpartum, where the emotional aspect of it
Definitely.
from your body changes.
for sure, and even up to like 6-7 months after, like
Absolutely.
significantly
Absolutely,
after, yeah,
because,
for sure.
because then your body is still trying to adjust to now having that baby, and then you're trying to get yourself back to normal. But then you have this baby too.
Right.
So
And the baby drains you too.
Absolutely,
Right? Like
the
you
baby
don't,
does.
like you don't
And
got
if
your
you're
nutrients for
nursing,
9 months straight, right? 10 months straight. Those off your center of balance, like everything, your sleep, all of that. Like I can only imagine.
I tell women all the time, like, from one of the things that is so important, and some women can't breastfeed, but nursing gets you back faster than feeding your child, Similac and all those things, because then they're not adjusting or getting your body back to normal. The breast milk actually gets you back to normal. Your baby taking those nutrients out of you. However, some women and some men just aren't ready to be parents. So a lot of times, you
parenting
find
is a
that you're
lot.
going through
It sure is.
postpartum because you're like, oh my God, I'm here with this baby by myself. He out there. You knew he was out there.
Parenting,
You
you
knew
knew
he was
exactly what it
going.
was, right?
He wasn't in there when y'all was having the baby. Y'all made the baby. He ran back outside. Y'all had
Because
y'all,
that decision was honestly, we both laid down together, but then when it comes down to it, then sometimes the decision is a singularly made decision, right?
And it's a decision that's made in the midst of a trauma that we
In
don't
the
acknowledge.
midst of a trauma.
We don't acknowledge it, right? Because the reality
Absolutely.
is, if you laying down with somebody and you create a life, that's a connection.
It is.
right? And then when you realize that person,
Lifelong connection.
right, lifelong connection, right? And then now when you realize like that person ain't gonna be there for you, your natural response is to have a little bit of anger. But
right.
the reality is, you just experienced the trauma.
Another
right?
trauma.
So then now with the normal trauma response that I see in here is, effort, I do it myself.
Yeah,
right?
and that's normally how it is.
Yeah, but so the reality is, like, that's the same thing like when I joined the Marine Corps. Like I knew I was joining the Marine Corps as a warfighter, but until you get in war, you don't really understand what
You
you're
don't
signing
know
up
what
for,
you sign up for, right?
The dynamic of it, right, is totally different than the idea of it, right? So I think that's the same thing
No,
with
and
kids.
you're absolutely right. And then on another side of this thing, right? And when the dad, let's say the father doesn't agree, right? And you see your partner's no longer there, or the mother, and she gives it, no longer agree. And then they go on to mature and then have a baby again.
Right.
And then you see the parenting is completely different.
absolutely.
Because it's one, and I'm just speaking as a man who know men, saying you can't force anybody, but you darn sure can't force a man to do something he don't want to do.
Definitely.
Right?
Absolutely not.
So when he don't want to do it, you're going to get the minimum response. And a lot of men only give minimum responses because they're forced to do it. But then when they go on and get remarried or have another, have a baby that they say, let's do it. I want to have this, and this is my decision.
Right.
You notice that baby is on his hip. You can't get rid of that father and son or father and mother relationship, because that's when the father says, I want to do this.
Right.
Now,
It was in their
sometimes
time.
It was in their time, and it was a mutual decision. Now, when it is, after a long time, if the father didn't want it, you'll see he'll finally grow to it, because then he'll realize his responsibility. And as we get older, we start to realize like, look, I made this action, so I got to stand up. And
That's
most dudes,
correct.
that's why they say stand up to men,
Right.
because you got to
Yeah.
stand up to it. And even though you ain't signed up for it,
Right.
in a way you did, but you ain't signed up for it. You got to stand up and take care
It's
of
that,
your
it's that part of that thing where you didn't know what you were signing up for.
Right.
Right. Like, so we look at it real linear. Hold on, real quick. Shout out to Ms. Zulene and Brother Wakil. How y'all doing? What up?
What up?
So it goes back to that same concept though, right? Like, so just simply put, it's a big difference between I'm doing what I had to do, right? And I'm doing what I chose to do, right? So, and I always make that point, right? So even though I was young when I had when I got married and all of that, when we made our babies, so the difference is because people ask me, well, they be like, well, look at you, right? You doing it, yeah, but I'm doing it with children that I not only signed up for, but they was planned all the way down to me and Triana had conversations
You
like,
said,
all right,
let's do this.
yeah,
And y'all were married.
we were
and y'all
married, and it
were-
was like, all right, you gonna
And
come
it was
off
a
your
mutual
birth control at this
decision.
time,
Absolutely.
right? So
It wasn't that phone call like, what we gonna do? Well, I don't know what you gonna do, but I'm gonna do this.
And
He
it
like,
wasn't no shot,
okay.
right? When Triana was pregnant, we knew Triana was gonna be pregnant. We
Word.
just didn't know the exact day. And
Absolutely.
this is another thing that killed me. People be like, "Look what I created." You ain't create nothing, but the situation. You created the situation for God to make the
Word,
life.
word.
You didn't create no life.
Word.
Like God created that life.
Word.
Because if you can't do it again,
Do it again. Yeah, but it goes back to what you were saying. Like when you get pushed into something, then you have to react, right?
Right.
And that goes back to my acronyms
Right.
that I always say about manning up, mandatory action, because it's absolutely necessary, man.
Right.
And